just loves the attention.
He does.
It sickens me.
It does.
It sickens me.
Oh my god, it's finally working.
It's about the players, Dan. Get off the stage. Yeah, it's going to be a joy to watch these teams.
Where is the next map?
playing
Icebox?
Masters Toronto. And this is another opportunity for them to entertain.
Dude, my
and
shit
grab a
wasn't
trophy
working
before
for
they
like
get there. But
ever.
also,
I did everything,
in
or I
context
tried
of
everything.
that tournament at Masters Toronto, whoever wins this gets to skip the Swiss stage. And you were mentioning earlier, Brent, we're expecting a pretty big meta shift heading into Masters Toronto. Whoever skips the Swiss stage gets to watch what all the other teams come up with and adjust without having the pressure of maybe being eliminated from the tournament.
I also like the
That's
trophy. The
extra
trophy looks
element.
better than like the
It's a
past.
huge advantage. You'd love
Past
to
few
have it,
times?
especially
I
a
don't
team
know.
like G2, heavily reliant on the Taeho plays. We know he's going to be nerfed. Meta will be shifting drastically heading into that event.
And I'm sure it's going to affect all the teams. But here and now, this is the composition that teams have settled on for Pearl. And Sen, they are the masters of it. A 10-2 dismantling in the first half. And G2 playing a very slow
Don't
beginning
fuck it
here.
up.
Looking to see where Sentinels are playing. Zekken set up to try to punish any kind of bait play on the Vice wall in B-Link.
Yep.
Now, just judging by Jorgamo's positioning, I'd imagine that G2 are heading in his direction. But Sen go for a re-clear, looking to try and grab some information and just miss it.
Salvo's onto the corner. Trying to punish potentially with it, but yeah, walls up and over. Again, you can navigate it. It's going to slow you down.
Oh, wait, they.
A flash for Zekken, could go crazy.
Refighting right into
Oh!
Salvo's. Oh, there is all sorts going on here. Turn up the heat there towards outside lane. Spike's going to be dropped down, but recovered. 25 seconds left. Your options to pivot are limited if you are G2.
But there's nobody actually defending A.
All full evacuation, isn't it? Sentinels have just been reinforcing, but now they're going to hear it. And yeah, okay, noise being made.
But they're going to be late to it. This plant is going to go down without a hitch. G2 with an opportunity of winning a 4v5 post plant.
Like a heist before our eyes, to be honest.
Don't know how they got away with that. Valen, he's
How
looking
did
to
they
try to
grab
make
the
play.
the
And
spike?
John thinking about it, watching for it. The two IGLs trying to find the timing.
It's all about those mind games here, and what a flash as well. Leap forwards with the fight. Crossfire setup is going to be set up with him and Trent as well. Just a slight peek.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this?
These players open themselves up into the more, into the classics in
Ah!
hand. Reloads but saved. Trent off to the side, and Leaf has not been denied. Nothing can take this guy down.
Wait, how?
1v2, John. 3 bullets left to do it all.
Oh!
Wait, how
What?
did that happen? Leaf! It's
Dude,
ridiculous.
this guy has plot
He's gotten
armor.
away with murder in that pistol round.
I-
And G2 in general have 25 seconds to pivot all the way from B to A. Sen just didn't think they would go for it.
No.
Instead, 4v5, they get the plant down and Leaf picks up 4 kills. Valen even finding that timing through water. So okay, G2 with a pistol.
No,
They're
he
gonna
had.
need so
he had
much
plot
more to
armor.
make this any level of a contest for Pearl. The gap is still 7 rounds with Sen in the lead.
It's the first step in potentially hundreds that need to be taken for G2 to have a chance here.
And we've seen big individual moments from the Sen players. It only takes a couple.
They're stacked up. Doesn't matter that they're on an eco here. They can do some real damage, especially with that util. Sentinels filled up the feed in their name.
Wait, there's hella guns.
Leaf with only a ghost to work with and a drone in his face.
Spotted out, overwhelmed, swarmed into the spot, and this is it. G2 just really rushing into things there, not navigating the spot that they were in, and Sentinels are going to be calling for this, and it's going to be a 3-2-1 swing together. And that makes 11.
Damn, that's hella guns.
Well, if
Okay,
there was any
okay,
hope of a
okay.
G2 come back from a 10-2 half, I think that should have put the knife in the back. Sen with a great anticipation
Put
of
the
where
knife
this
in
one
the
was
back.
ending. And they just all swing out together.
Almost a grade there.
Yeah,
The
G2
power
super
of
stuck inside of them,
friendship.
right? They couldn't find a safe area to stand. And Josh RT, he was talking to us in the coach interview about the fact that G2 need to close
Time
things
out.
as early as possible. You have to think about it as a BO1 because it is possible for Sen to come back in this series.
Yeah.
They're going into really good maps for them. Pearl, excellent. Ascent, that's the next map. And that's where they crushed the Waylay coming out from G2. So it's entirely possible the Sentinels, when you look at the map pool, could pull off a comeback. Josh is going to be talking to them here about how they can pick themselves up and maybe try to make something happen on Pearl. But it looks a far cry away from being a reality.
Miles away. Of course, Josh is going to be telling them 1 round at a time is all it takes, but for Sentinels, is exactly what they needed. Weirdly enough as well, with the way that the map veto landed and laid out, you end up with the 2 maps the Sentinels won against G2 near the tail end. They sent an icebox sitting near the back.
And of course, sometimes you learn more by being the loser in those situations.
I haven't been able to watch this stupid game because I couldn't figure out OBS. I don't know why that shit was not working.
But I think
For like ever.
with Zen dominating on this map, we're set up still for an extremely competitive series for this trophy.
The force up here from G2, there's really no other options. Sentinels tripled up in through a main drone as well. Sets the tone towards the round. Using arm control in the process, a bit of spam.
Time to jump.
A lot of presence here from G2, they're making it known. Not shy, are they? Knocking straight at the door, to be honest.
They're trying to catch a player that might be playing over towards mid. You know, somebody that's playing in that connector.
Who was Alpha
Outside of the
1?
device wall here, and they've managed to find the other side of it.
Was,
So full mid
was it
control
Crew?
for
I think it
G2.
was Crew.
A little bit strange as well that when Sentinels took A main, they didn't feed the orb to John QT.
Yeah, what happened to Crew? They lost it like... They lost to
I don't know if
EG, I
Chelsea's
think.
gonna expect this one. Might be fast, but okay, here's the footsteps. Valin!
Valin's stinger is gross.
Pure disrespect.
His drive-by.
Gun pick back up here, ferried back. They can't let that one get into enemies' hands, but
Wow!
onto the side here with a bit of a plant of their own as long as there's no funny business. Those go down, straight bullets slowing down Valin, but he's still alive. And now post plant begins once again, and we're going to see it. Salvo's up in 15.
Yeah, you have pull, you have salvos, you have people at close range with stingers. It's a hard retake for Sen to win.
George's going to be that thorn in their side as well.
What?
What is that?
John didn't even get a look in.
Cutting through. Fake teleport.
Just shuts the door in the face of Sentinels.
Stinger.
No chance for them to even get going.
Stinger makes you a
Still
winner.
holds online. Silver linings. But G2, if you give them a sight, their post-plant play is almost impossible to deconstruct. And I think that's why they match up so well against
Ooh.
Sentinels. Because
Run!
historically, since they've become excellent at the beginning of 2024, it's been about that kind of retake
Got McDonald's,
prowess.
but they forgot to
And
give
this
me a
is the
straw.
post-plant meta.
They're like, it's in the bag, and I opened the bag and it wasn't in there. That's fucked up!
Stingers inside smokes. But Sen still have a 7-round lead.
That's true.
A 7-round lead is going to be really, really difficult to fight against.
Just 2 rounds, all Sentinels need. It can happen anywhere. G2 are well aware of that, with the amount of thrifties they've been winning on Pearl.
Don't throw, please.
Jorgamo full sprint forwards, trying to catch a time and pass the salvos. Grab that A main control.
Good early kill onto the drone as well, so he's not worried about being suppressed. Still has a gate crash to be able to get out. But he's taken 100 damage. He's down to only 50.
Yeah.
Both Yorus just kind of staring off at each other. A wall in the way.
Have they tracked the money well enough to know that Zekken has opted into the operator? Potentially, but could be missed here. Don't think Zekken's revealed his hand. He's kind of trying to get posted up onto the A line. A lot of util expended. TP back. Jorg gives up the space.
And because that gate crash was so close, Zekken now feels pretty confident just walking all the way up. He heard the audio cue.
ADS timing. Oh,
Ah!
on both ends here, but there's 2 players putting the pressure now, applying it onto Zekken. Can he deliver?
No!
Twist! Oh,
Wait, he got out though. Okay.
Evacuation there with a gate crash again, but it's watched forward while these lurks. Realization by Sentinels that they have lost that mid control.
You can wallbang that.
John QT might have been able to catch a kill.
Quick tap. Looking to try and force some of this util and buy a bit of time and space for the rest of the team forwards. Somehow Leaf gets that one. Zekken can be dropped here.
You
Plant
can
that down.
wallbang that?
Into the post plan we go. John was not baited into the using this ult. Means they can use it now for the retake. Jorgamo is forced to step forwards and he's only on single digits almost of HP. Trent with that fire over the shoulder just takes out Bang and he's caught a timing of his own, wrapping all the way around. This is going to be so unexpected for these Sentinels players.
And you've still got pull. Here come the salvos.
I say it's going to be unexpected. John was aware of the fact. Zeltis forwards, he's going to be done.
Missiles away.
But here's those salvos, like you were saying, delay, the stall, dragging this one into the bitter end. Jonah P finds it, time ticking though. So is the spike. Chance is nigh impossible. That's the trouble we were talking about. You let G2 get into these post-plant spots.
Don't let them plant.
So difficult.
Just don't let them
push
plant.
incredibly deep to find out where Trent and Valen are playing. They fall back into really safe positions, and they double up with people like Jonah P, for example, who can take contact against them. Like, Jonah's job here is just to defend Trent, essentially.
Aww, that's
Private
cute
bodyguard.
though.
And then you've got Jorg in front, trying to find timings and create distractions. So Sen, they get dropped down onto a low eco. They lose all of their rifles, including the operator that they were going to work with. And I think they've also got to take a bit of a strategic shift. It's one thing to say they're massively in the lead. It's absolutely true. They had a phenomenal first half. But you still need to be fighting people as they enter the choke points, as they enter the sites. I think it's pretty similar analysis to what we were talking about on Split. You can't just play off. You can't allow yourself to be pushed away too much because the G2 post plants are so good.
Kaplan feeling the need to take the time out here because, again, the advice that's obviously Josh RT was trying to offer up to his team before they got into Pearl, kind of let your foot off the gas. Same can be said here for Sentinels. Doesn't matter how close you are to that finish line, to closing out Pearl, getting it into the next map, which is Ascent. G2 are also aware they can run it back one round at a time. That's all it takes. You cannot give these teams ins. They're too good for that.
Sen, along with a strategic adjustment, might just be thinking, let's build up to ults. Let's just try to get to map point on a massive ult round. The problem being there that John just used his Teho ult, and the others, they're a little way off. But the more kills they can get, the more ult orbs they can farm, the better they'll be. And it did look like John was maybe...
I was like, when did he use Teho? But I remember now.
Got pushed back.
Util by both teams. Back to the beginning, really, of the round, aren't we? Where the barriers started for both of them. No space given up on either side. All through mid. This is Sen. They're troubled out looking, hoping that somebody will walk into them through mid, but G2 are going in a different spot.
It's a really common eco play to try to take the fight a barrier drop through mid. So I think Sen are just doing a variation where it's a lot slower and kind of hoping that G2 are going to wander into them, as you said. But that Vice Flash in the mid round gives Leaf a lot of information that nobody's pushed up. And now, after the Vice Flash, this is where John calls for them to go and move forwards.
Util's going to be seen at this point here, so they're aware G2 making moves over towards the B site. Players are a while away. Nothing used by Sen either to push this one back, and Bang was hoping that there was a potential opportunity there. Window where nobody was going to be watching for him, but he's swiftly dismissed.
Sentinels are hoping for kills so that we can get closer to ults, so that they can force them out of G2 in fear. But G2 just looking really solid.
It's chokehold on every single choke point. No one can really step over that line here. This gonna have it in his mind. He doesn't really want to go down to them either. He'd hope to let's go down to the spot.
No!
Round to the corner.
Oh my god, his booty cheeks were in his face.
In spots like this, doesn't matter that they're down rounds, they're still thinking about min-maxing.
They are. That's one of the worries. It's all well and good to say, well, Sentinels at some point will just get up to a huge amount of ultimates and they'll win a round. But if you're never forcing them out of G2, that round's actually going to be dead even. Yeah. It's just going to be chaos. Ults on either side.
No,
I don't want to see that round.
I love it.
Is this round 18 the spot where Sen tried to invest Euro ult? Or do they want to save it for something where they've got a bit more backup? These are the difficult spots. These are the tough decisions for John to make. Because G2, they have everything to win this round.
No,
John
I don't.
can crack open a site for them, and they've got good ults for.
I feel like
post
next
plant or
round.
to stop retakes from coming through.
Even Leaf. Him and Zekken, two players who have been opted into the Outlaw the most when they're tracking the money.
Yeah, there's
Four
four
players
players.
are Sentinels on half armor, so could do some damage with that one on top of it here. Dimensional Drift clears the way, spots out 3.
3.
Told you want to hard commit into this. Back through into it. Bang. He's not shy, he's not scared. But now
Oh
we'll have to
shit,
back
oh
away.
shit, oh
He's
shit.
by his side stand up. Spam into the corner. There's no real chance for him there.
Oh my god.
Util. Kitchen sink being thrown at him in the process. Jorgamo has earned his team a bit of a foothold as well. Calling for the pause as well and causing a reclearance called for here by Sen. Wide face, John. Just step up to it. Armageddon out. Laid into the back along with the pull. No player's going to be falling prey to this one. It's up to John to stand down against most of this team. G2.
Come on,
starting to
Eric.
get their footing again. To this side, slowly but surely, the discipline is there.
No!
Unfortunate 140, but whips it back around. Zelsis.
Oh,
Didn't
thank you.
expect that. G2.
Well,
They
at
are
least
clawing this one back.
at
this
least they
time.
didn't use the ult.
At least there has to be a bit of a worry, I think, at the back of Sentinel's minds.
Absolutely, there's going to be a worry. But I think there's a small silver lining that they did force so many ults out here. And John realized when Bang went down, okay, we are not playing for retake at this point. There's no smokes, so he wide swings out, tries to take the fight to Dart. But they forced out 3 ultimates for G2. They made it costly. They're going to decide themselves to force up with a Guardian, with a Bulldog, with light armors on every player. And they're going to try to win this round. This has got to be where they stop the G2 comeback.
I mean, it's a hell of a gambit. You lose this, your money's going to be butchered here.
Yeah, please don't fucking
even though it
lose.
is only 2 rounds. Brings G2 one step closer to equalizing. There are no more second chances if Sentinels end up losing this map. It goes out of their grip. G2 all the way forwards here.
Ooh.
Quick approach in through connector. They have a lot of space.
Oh.
It's a deeper wall though being placed by Zelsis. It's not going to make
Imagine
the
they
same
go
mistake as
down
last
to
time,
her.
but They took the time and passed it. Sentinels are putting a premium on trying to hold on to that B-long control. Zekken at the forefront of it. Drone gets broken. Very much far forward here with a Seal Guard and Zelsis. Getting a bit of a move on. He's still going to be caught though, so he's not going to have a gun to try and help Zekken out into this spot. Zekken very much alone. Util.
Oh!
Forced out of him just to try and get the hell out of there. Spots the 2 players making a bit of a...
Remember to the
wraparound
gate
move.
crash.
Sentinels haven't given up a lot of map control though. If the pivot is called for, G2 might find themselves in a bit of a trap.
30 seconds left.
Wall chords,
Eh.
fakes on fakes, obfuscating where the intention is. G2 running
Eh.
back. Second though, spots it out. Space is still being held down. And he could be that difference maker. TP in. And it's not expected. What a play!
That's so sick!
What?
Right. Completely hides the intent, Jorgamo. He wants a little bit more.
Oh, that's so smart.
They might have just delivered a bit of a death blow here to Sentinels.
And they need to win this one. It has to be the full investment. And what's the case with the economy? Nightfall up and over. A lot of Qs cut away, but the Util's going to be broken down anyway. Up through the top, Sentinels are going to be doubled up. Valen can't hear a thing. You have to rely on it. Raw reaction times. And a crossfire setup is there. G2. They let nothing slip. They hear it scurrying away. The rifles to remain. At this point, it's becoming a reality. G2, they're feeling empowered.
That was such a nice play out of the strat hook from G2. The Astra ult disguising all of the audio cues so that Jorgamo can teleport into the tiniest
Yeah, that's
crack
crazy.
at the back of halls. Completely caught Zelsis off guard.
But like,
G2 don't allow Sen to escape.
what does that wall even cover?
Your wall was insane, bro. I think you're behind him. You didn't even know.
Okay, that's not even from the strat hook.
Improvised.
Wait, now he's running the strap
Jorg's
down.
running that one down. Wait, we've got to run that one again.
So wait a minute. Yeah, okay, they think it's A, it's a fake, and Joe gets in.
That was nasty good. I mean, yeah.
Wait, but what does
That's
the
the
wall
place at the end.
cover? It
Get a
goes.
chance to talk to them.
What?
Going through these players' mind though. Sentinels on our screen here. It's the second time I've taken.
I'm so confused what that
Responsible
wall would
out,
even
I think.
cover.
This is a worrying sign. Kaplan having a stern word with them.
Now they called to go for the gambit, and you said it was very.
Does it
risky in the
cut
previous
heaven?
round, right? They bought up. They had a
But
build
what
up
was
with
that?
Guardian, light armors on everybody, and they chose
What
to
would that
invest
do?
2 big ultimates. They used the Euro ult.
I'm so
and the
confused.
Fade ult to try to retake, but they're still going to get up to about 3 in this round.
Look
They
at
still
there's
have
2
Steel Guardian
bodyguards.
to work with. Bang can ult in order to help
Damn.
the retake, and that's really difficult for G2 to deal with. And there's a Teho ultimate online here as well, potentially for John QT. Now, I'm not saying that they should use them right here, because the money is so bad. But for the next round, eventually, finally, Sentinels will have some level of an ult advantage and equal rifles.
They just need that tipping point.
All they need is one. Surely at some point, Sen will be able to get it. But thus far, in this half, they've only been able to get the one round, and G2 have had 6.
Jonah P, risky here. You're up against the weaker buy. He is so far forwards, but immediately backing away.
They don't know that there's like 2 more in there though.
Jump on the opportunity, but seeing it Salvos into the back is a fast play. All in. TP back, Salvos. For the team damage, Jorgmo sets the clone forwards first. That's a stinger in your face, and the team doesn't help out. Strength from the side. Tucked up onto the corner, though. Zeltis eventually cleaned up there with a trade.
One enemy remaining.
And it's all watched for. Plan an attempt to disrupt by Narrate.
Spike planted.
But this was their half by round.
How is
G2
Giacomo
will be
still
up to 9
fucking
as a result of it.
alive?
And I said previously, round 19 had to be where Sentinels stopped the G2 comeback.
Why is he laughing?
But this next one, with 3 ults for Sentinels, assuming that John doesn't just die to Spike here. Okay, with 3 ults available for Sen, rifles online, and G2 have no ults at all. If Sen don't win this, I don't see how they're winning the map, because this has got to be the most advantaged they've been in the entire half.
They have almost everything.
Is this just attack sided? I don't.
So well.
I feel like it's not. I feel like it's defense sided.
Jonah P pulling
This
a
map.
couple of people off B. They get that free teleport into the back of halls.
Tempo increase.
And Narrate, he's not as emotionally stressed as we saw him earlier on in the year. He wears his heart on his sleeve, but you can tell that the pressure's getting to him a bit. They're down 0-2 in the series, and G2 are pulling off a monster comeback.
10 to
Smiles
half.
earlier for Sentinels for good reasons, but
10 to half, and then they won the
G2 very
what the
real.
fuck is the word? The
A lot of
eco.
things here with the amount of rounds that they've been able to pull together. A main control maintained for now by Zekin. G2 showing presence. Decoy forwards in the hope that there is a wall here.
Now, Bang's position I quite like, because Jorgamo's been going for halls teleports, which means that the rest of the team isn't really going to have that Yoru flash to go through the smoke. Do they mix things up? Bang takes the timing inside.
All grouped up, Bang. You've been a playmaker. And
Ah!
two!
Yes, finally!
Dodging and weaving as bullets.
Finally,
whistle
how
past his graze.
he's still alive.
Limping out of the fight for now, but he's bought time and a lifeline for Sentinels themselves. It's what they needed.
They so desperately needed Bang to be a hero.
Oh!
30 seconds left.
Stray spam again.
Concealment.
Any player at G2 could fall at a moment's notice, but now here it is. Second wave of the Utah once more off to the corner. It's a stun! Bang! Still, where's the response? Still, Garden is there. No weapons at all. Nothing to work with. Shorty in hand, Trent does.
He still gets one with a short. Fuck that.
Tipping point.
And it wasn't the ults that made the difference in the end. Celsius throws his in, but it's all
Where's
Bang.
my light stick?
Finally,
Boo,
after
where's
6
my
rounds in a row
lightstick?
from G2,
It's 'cause I don't have my
Bang
lightstick
figures out
today.
a little gap, a small window of opportunity where Jorgamo was prepping that flash to pop out through the smoke.
Remaining.
Bang catches them.
He gets 2 when he gets out.
Boys, let's go.
That's a scream of relief. That's a release of tension that has been building for Sentinels. And now a bit of a
Straight into
scream.
it, man. Yeah, these are players, these are bodies that are going to be facing up here. Sentinels! It's almost everything thrown at them. On either side here for G2. They get the advantage now. Dimensional drift. Can set the pace a bit differently here. You could speed up on the backside of it here, especially with Jorgamo spotting out 2 of the players. Thorns drop down. Dimensional drift is going to be faving. And now that Armageddon paves the way potentially to success for them. Jorgamo, no, you got to try and get the hell out of there. The clone's going to be eating the bullet for it. And a call is made to try and fight forward. Sentinels, it's about how they absorb this now. It's a gambit to be played, but the round swings on its head. Jorgamo rips away 2 lives. Sentinels have got to get it done now with just Celsius and Bang. Spam into the corner. Spot and over, Bang. Still trying to spam them down, leaves it just down to Celsius. It's too much to overcome. G2 not done yet.
decided to turn up
Dude.
the tempo massively there, putting crazy early round pressure on with the Tejo
But
ultimate.
it did not work, bro.
Sentinels tried to throw the kitchen sink at G2. Here's those 2 kills though. I really like what they're going for. A Prowler so that you draw all of the eyes forwards and then a Euro Flash afterwards. The combo is good, but Jorgamo spams 2 of the Sentinel players down as they're trying to retake Secret. The economy's crushed.
Oh
And this is all
my
gonna
god,
come down to the
dude!
final round, Bren, as to whether or not we go to OT.
Unless Sen can pull out some sort of miracle. We've
They
seen it before.
hella through 10-2 lead.
Information, narrate.
No.
Bait and switch. Hoping that they wouldn't expect him to just be creeping up there, but no damage. No kill, I should say. Damage definitely done to Leaf.
Sen, so fast to try to respond to this, thinking that it was going to be one of the B execs that G2 have been running.
Pop
A
pass.
re-clear too. They have too many bodies on this side of the map. They needed the info. They need to spread the defense out again.
That's how I spread.
Mayhem.
That is how I
All
spread.
sorts of noise as well. He's pulling bodies straight back. Sen were happy to fast rotate to try and follow where the action could go.
And they think the action is still coming B. The spike is still over in that direction. But G2
Oh, they're running.
look like they've got the read from Leaf. They should be heading away from Jorgamo. Jorgamo fires a couple of extra shots, just trying to keep bodies secure on the B site. And he's kept them there. 4 players for Sen, none of them budging an inch.
My ult is ready.
From QT Dodo does have the salvos. When he sees this one coming, he's going to be able to at least respond to delay this plan from going down. Chooses to use
Thorns
them
as
early.
well.
Yeah, Thorns. This slowed, time bought.
Ooh. Okay, the 2 of them are low.
This is going to be a plant. This is going to be post-plant setups.
You
This
got
could be it. Talk about a turning point. All it takes is one more round, and John QT delivered them a world of a round so far. Enough to potentially take them to the finish line. It's
Thrifty.
expended at this point. Jonah
Come on, thrifty,
rips
thrifty,
away
thrifty.
2. But he needs more where that came from. Off to the side of Jar with a movement. Weaving in and out. Sentinels.
Oh my
They've done
god.
it. Still alive.
Zach and LeBron?
Pearl is theirs to claim.
At the 11th hour, 2 heroes.
What's the
step
next map?
The Sentinels.
I don't know what the next map
Final
is.
rifle round, and John Cutie with a 2K spray down with
Is
a
it a map?
stinger in secret.
Yeah.
Kind of player I don't think I've
Is it
seen
a map?
to win 13.
Fuck!
But that was a
What's
10-2
the
half.
map?
And G2 almost pulled off a comeback.
Okay, there we go.
And the heart's going to be pumping, man.
Pretty reminiscent, actually, of the last time we
Wait.
saw these 2 teams play on a set.
It's not gonna tell me the
Where-
next map.
A ridiculous first half from Sen and an almost comeback for G2.
Oh my god.
That's the map we're headed into next.
And Sen have got the better of G2 on those next 2 maps coming up. Of course, Ascent, you've already teed it up. That doesn't mean they can really do it a second time in a row. As we've already been mentioning, often the team that loses is going to be putting the time in to make sure that they shore up the map.
Bro!
Up the weaknesses still.
Let me
It's a
go on
best of
Twitch.
5. Tenacious. Both of these teams are not willing to give up whatsoever.
Josh RT did not get his wish with an easy closeout
Map.
here on Pearl.
Icebox.
And things are
Wait,
only gonna
no.
get more difficult.
Ascent,
The
Ascent.
tension
And
is gonna
then
build so
Icebox.
massively as we head towards these final 2 maps.
It's unreal scenes all around here. The trophy on the line. The
We're
potential
getting
for
dropped. I
G2
feel like I should be
back-to-back.
watching on Twitch.
Sentinels just trying to stay alive and get a reverse sweep potentially.
League of
making
Legends.
history of their own. It's all yet to be seen, of course.
Well,
We're
wow.
taking a quick break on the other
The fuck
side of
is this?
things. Map number 4. You don't want to go anywhere.
There's no drops. Hi, Blue. Sao ấy? Sao? Này. Ui, bị đẹo à? Nó không bế mình lên được. À. What? You're too fat. Did you wanna watch? Is that why? You wanna go to Canada, my boo boo? Ah! Đấy, thấy chưa, tại vì béo quá đấy, mình ngã. Well, we're not in a game right now, so I don't know why you wanted to watch. Yes, hello. Thắng rồi. Are you okay? What's wrong? Ôi dồi, bụng căng á, ấy mà để ăn gì bụng căng thế? Ăn chicken nugget đúng không? Me and chicken nugget? You have an eye booger, my guy. Đây, bây giờ có thư thêm rồi. Ai đấy? Who is it?
Attention of G2 away from that for a moment. The kills now towards sight, towards elbow. It's going to be John Cutie coming in for the kills.
Who is it?
Coming through. G2.
Why is your asshole clenching right now?
Through over the shoulder.
Hey everyone, welcome
Look,
back
it's the
to
white
chance
guy.
To listen in to both teams'
Your
communication during
favorite.
that last map that Sentinels ended up taking. And
You're
a
bored?
little check-in. Starting with Sentinels, if you had not told me that Sen were on stage down 2 in the finals, I would have had absolutely no idea. I swear it sounded like solo queue out there, especially in the first half. They were very goofy, they were silly. they were having a
Only
good time.
in the
There were people
first half.
whistling in comms while John's in a 1-on-4 clutch. It didn't matter. They were cruising. Other good news for Sen fans is Kaplan, when he's got his head in his hands in the timeout and he looks really frustrated. No, he's actually very calm. He's not mad, he's not frustrated, he's not upset, he's angry. No, he is just giving the exact plan he wants his team to do, the micro details that he wants his players to execute on. So good news on that front. Looking at the other side, coaching-wise, Josh RT coming out of round 14, which G2 ended up losing after winning Pistol to the eco of Sentinels, was frustrated. He gave them a hard conversation saying that they needed to, refine themselves as a team, get back to their identity, and know who they are. And you better believe that after losing that,
Who are they? Who are they?
against an eco, there's gonna be another hard conversation coming in the back rooms. We're gonna send it over to the desk because there's a lot more Valorant to be played.
You don't want to... You didn't want to see him?
Hey, and look at that.
It's okay, I didn't want to see him either.
On that one. No idea who that is. But yeah,
What are you looking at?
really,
He's
the
over
series that
there.
you could have asked for here.
Why did you want to come up here? I didn't want to see him
On
either.
that one. No idea who that is. But yeah,
What are you looking at?
really,
He's
the
over
series that
there.
you could
Did you want to come up
and you
here?
got sent
You sure?
game for.
Yeah, it's huge for Sen to win this.
Oh my God.
Now they're heading into
Canada.
where they managed
Should I go to
beat
Canada?
G2 last time, but that first half was just defined.
I don't like
by
Canada, though.
moments for Sentinels. Their individuals were absolutely outstanding, and I think they needed a guy like Bang to step up and be that catalyst for this
10 for
comeback.
10?
Ooh.
Ooh.
They're doing a great job shooting them. And then on another round, he's like, "Wait, man, yeah, way to go." You shot him again. They got several 4Ks in this game between Bang and Zelsis, that duo, who have been mostly quiet, at least on map 1 and 2. Came here in a big way on Pearl. They got them off to a hot start, and then Zelsis had this crazy 4K to close out that half in super dominant fashion.
To me, it looked like Sentinels had a really clear plan that Leaf is oftentimes playing this like solo anchor setup.
Is there an echo? Wait, am I watching the other one?
Circumvent his utility, isolate that anchor, and absolutely decimate him in that first half.
Ascent.
This has
Nice
probably been
spots.
G2's best player in this series thus far, and they did such a good job of running him over on the site, getting into advantaged post plants, and then winning them out every
G2
time.
was winning. Dude, Sen were up 10-2 and then they almost fucking won. G2, I mean, they almost... G2 almost won. 10-2 and it's 13-10.
First kills in this, but they were able to close out 10 out of 10 post plants, regardless of if G2 were even able to put it in a 5-on-4. It didn't matter. They couldn't
Hydrate.
convert.
I only have my really sad sweet tea without a straw because the McDonald's employee did not give me a straw.
Still clearly hot and ready to go for the rest of this series.
And it sounds like to me the thing that was most important was that they needed to kind of loosen up. That's what it sounded like based on what Ender was saying. Sentinels needed to loosen up. That could maybe be the recipe for success for G2 potentially as we get ready for
I didn't think that would work because I have to run my OBS in safe mode.
Majority of that game. And like you said, maybe these next
But I don't know why everything's breaking today.
To beat G2 on in that prior series, but those were some really close affairs.
And last time they played on this Ascent, this is looking at
And it just disconnected.
well, which is going to be coming up a little bit later on. But to talk about that one, I think that Sentinels had a very specific idea of how Jojimo played on the entry when he's going to be playing the Waylay coming up on Ascent. He got absolutely rolled every time he was trying to go for one of these set entry plays. And that goes to show how much effort Kaplan and the leadership at Sentinels put into preparing for that game. What I'm looking for from G2 though is to change up that pathing, come out with some new stuff on Ascent here. They need to have a better attack side.
There's one specific stat that I want to pull from that game, which was when Sen were dominating that first half on defense. Jaw finished 4 for 11 on kills to deaths, but more importantly than that was 0 for 7 on first kills to first deaths on attack. Wow. 7 first deaths. He was getting isolated in the sites, couldn't be followed up on, dying alone, no success on the Waylay. He ran it back and found success against.
Oh my god, my shit got delivered.
But they did not have that same understanding of how to counter it like Sen do.
And the two guys that stepped up on map 3 of this series, Bang and Zelf.
This trophy looks a lot better. It kind of looks like the Gaia Vandal.
Sentinels is on the defensive side that are going to have to deal with these executions.
Bro's Asian squatting.
If they stay in form, it sets them up for another excellent Ascent defense.
This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one, Wyatt, right? I mean, look, I think G2 now, they're going to be licking their wounds after this one from, you know, yes, they were able to make the comeback happen, but let's not forget, they were getting, you know, raffle stomped a couple of those rounds in the first half of that.
Ooh,
right?
the
So
Francis
now
is
make your way
red
to the set
out.
here. You know, the pressure is on, big opportunity, but also I do
Or no.
to when Josh RT was talking.
Everyone just has a default. Wait, what? I'm
We
confused.
cannot let our foot off the pedal, and seems like Sentinels force that out of them.
I am curious today to see on Ascent if they are going to opt to switch Jaw.
Because what if someone didn't know you're playing in BCT and they just message you?
Casting and then ended up going with the Waylay and they won. So that could give credence to doing it again. But you guys were even speculating on the desk then that maybe he'll be running the Yoru. And I think this would be a good time for him to bring it out, even though he loves playing the Waylay in that way. But just for the sake of his own fun, even, he's like, I wish I could play Waylay, and these guys don't force me to keep playing more Yoru. He said something like that.
This is a very similar position to where
It's not ugly, but it's not amazing of a trophy. I don't know.
Final 2 maps against an opponent that looked rough to start the series, but have heated up towards the end. This time, they've got to prove they're not going to let this BO5 slip. I think they absolutely want to close it out here. 3-1 on Ascent, a map that has been so strong for them all year.
And I think it just starts with the pistols. They got to get those pistols out of the gate real fast. They cannot allow Sentinels, if G2 wants to close this one out, to get.
Are you okay?
Certainly are going to be something that could bite them potentially with how close these
Ito,
scorelines
kung
are.
kumuha kasi naman yan.
Critical part
Araw
of the
ko,
story
garay.
on Pearl. Sentinels
Man,
getting
garay.
out to such a strong lead.
Oh, now you
that
stand up, you
G2
bitch.
were attempting a comeback. It was ultimately made fake because the lead was just insurmountable at that point. So they're going to be trying to stay
Okay,
down.
Hill.
But that is a hallmark of Ascent. You can go on such a run on that defensive side that you can just end up not being able to make the comeback because you're down by so many rounds.
Ew.
By the same token, John QT was up 2-1 in the series, right? Down 2-1 in the series when they were back in the finals of the
Like, why is half their friends list like default profile?
Got their spot in the partnership system and have now found themselves here in their second chance to go back to win a second trophy in the row.
Ooh, wait, that's a nice keyboard.
Huge for them, of course. The question is, can Sentinels push this one to a 5th map? Well, folks, Ascent is coming.
I have Jet, like a tiny fucking Jet on my keyboard. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. He's so cute. I want a Cypher, but Cypher low-key looks ugly. Or like Sage. But the Jet, like, white hair just matches everything. I can smell the 2-2. Ascent? I I mean, they did well last time, but I feel like G2 probably came up with a. Oh my god, there's something stuck in my hair. I feel like G2 came up with a strat to counter A. They were playing yesterday, so now I don't know if they even had time.
In the past, and it was a closely fought affair. I mean, listen, the 13-11, I think, was the scoreline in the end, even though it was dominance.
Yeah. Shit, my hair blue.
Almost like Pearl that we just watched here and now.
Why would you
but
do that?
To play for, really, to stay alive in tournaments and a chance to grab that trophy in front of you. Not just a chance. I mean, you will be lifting it if you can win the whole thing.
We've been gifted as well with some of these maps just starting on the perfect sides for the narrative.
I don't know. I feel like G2 is gonna win, but I really want Sen to win. But I also want G2 to win because they'll win back to back.
Again, we get to see G2 on the attack side and see whether their Waylay, which I think you can spot there at the top right, is actually going to be able to find those openings.
They're doing Waylay again.
Adjustments, but Sentinel's game plan was so strong at being able to shut down Jorgamo.
That's a big thing, I think. G2 are definitely going to be focusing on making sure that doesn't happen again. Able to get into these
I think they're trying something new to see if Waylay's still viable.
Definitely a case of, like, I think what G2 were just kind of not quite rushing into things, but Sen definitely had a heavy read in terms of where they needed to place most of the players to try and push back, usually flood defending, fighting them often and early. But it's the thing with rematches, sometimes the same game plan, the same anti-strats will often not really work. G2 are going to be making adjustments of their own. Not quite in terms of compositions, but definitely in terms of the ideas, I imagine.
Yeah, you've got to imagine that they've looked at that VOD and have some alterations. Because if you're not going to change the Waylay, you have to change how you play the Waylay. Sen had so much momentum in that first half of Pearl. Trickled off slightly, but it ended strong with some big individual moments, some hero plays. And so those tough talks from G2 heading into Ascent versus Ascent, who are now feeling like the comeback might be doable. Who's in a better position here as we head into Ascent?
Absolutely. And now, listen, momentum might have been taken away towards the tail end of that map for Sentinels. They had to drag it over the finish line to get here on Ascent, but
oh my god,
they got the better side. I mean, Ascent is so important starting on defense.
And here we see it once more. Knives going to be exchanged on either side here. Now, position of the knife was getting antied quite hard by MIBR. Aspas was taking liberties pushing into mid. And it looks like Zekken wants to have a chance of his own. It's a flash to try and push past, but immediately dashes back, but he is committed! Oh my, almost doesn't matter, but still traded out in the end. That's Valen. Pushed up deep now. And
oh my god, I gotta poop again.
First domino
Yeah, a couple of players over towards Catwalk really wanted to try to force the fight, hoping that the rest of G2 would still be focused on Zekken.
But that opening, I think, tells me quite a lot when I'm watching this VOD back. And like I said, when G2 were playing against MIBR, the position of the knife and their opening defaults were getting antied hard. They were already making changes and moves. Maybe coming
no!
Something about it here and now, but no. Too much there. Weaving in and out, playing off each other.
He thought there was only one.
When you talk about momentum, this pistol round on the attack side is hyper important on Ascent. On the attack side of Ascent, you might only win 3-4 rounds on the attack side total. Yeah. So being able to pick up a pistol and probably the follow-up is enormous. Just changes the numbers so much.
Major difference indeed. Zelsis looking around here, but almost expecting.
Wait, if
well played.
If the whatever, I don't care. I was gonna say, if the Vi splashes, would you ever know? Is it flash somebody?
By chaining these ultimates, by getting themselves into positions, and forcing G2 down onto ecos constantly.
What? That wasn't on his head.
Really good denial of that mid-fight.
Nice. Yo, we're halfway there.
I mean, that might be a reference to Valen saying that we only need 2 on the attack side. This map is by far and away our most, one-sided map that we have in the pool currently. It's crazy defense-sided usually. Some teams running the double sentinel.
Yeah.
But even when they're not in a match like this, last time we just saw teams rack up defense round after defense round over and over again.
The way it's been shaken out. Sentinels on these eco rounds have been setting up trap plays. Another one cooked up over towards B.
Yeah, a bit of a gamble, this one. And looking like it's going the wrong way. A flash into B main, just for some information.
Back in a
Well,
flash.
doesn't reveal a thing here. Could use some util to at least try and push G2 back. Into the trap play that they got cooked up.
Oh!
Well, nade into the corners. Found a slight window here, and yep.
Wait, what?
Straight
No!
back, but classic at hands, not the weapon of choice.
Almost.
The Taeho drone is so powerful in that spot to realize whether or not there's a stack on the site. Trent giving tons of info to Valen as to whether or not they should cancel this push into A. Now Sen, honestly, they just, I would say, want to die to the spike, because you do not want to charge up these ultimates. This is the worst map in the entire game if the attacker starts some kind of ult snowball, because you're expected to get so many defense rounds.
Just to play here for Sen, you are right. I mean, the spike might just be the most optimal.
And so, think about this from G2's perspective. You actually want to go and find where they're hiding to try to die to spike. Like, G2 really should try to break the wall and go for this.
Through this one at the final moment here. A lot of util going to be expended though. Jorgamo already up, and that's half on the defuses. Earned it! Oh! That could be problematic.
Yeah, if the idea there was to die to spike, not really accomplished. Trent picking up
What?
3 with the salvos towards the end. I don't really think the Sen ever thought there was a ninja defuse on the cards there.
Player standing.
3 kills. Let's go, Nate. Imagine.
I don't gotta imagine that shit just happened right before my eyes.
Defuse happened would have been an incredible moment. And G2 not super close to the ultimate, so they don't have to worry about that too much right now. But this is the round, I think, where we can really take a look at how G2 have adjusted their attack side. Because this, they're probably going to bring out a set strat, a set tactic, to try to set Jorgamo up for success.
Dude, he's gonna have ult next
They've
round.
threatened a little bit of A main control. They smoke A main in order to threaten that they could be through wine and getting ready to pop. But my eyes, again, are on Jorg. How does he play this?
We're going to get set up. No bodies on the Sen side to receive him though.
They're using the Vice Flash so nicely for info. They just flash close mid.
I've never played
Let them know
Taeho.
that
Does
there's
that
nobody
see like 1 or
Jorg could
4?
walk in here without using the Taeho drone, without using smokes even.
Still being saved here by G2. What a util here by G2. They're just trying to potentially pull players. Util of their own. Over the wall, Jorgamo.
Wait, that wall came up
Celsius.
so
His
late.
eye on that one.
That's the most common position for the Vice Wall, so a bit strange that G2 got caught out heavily by it there.
A lot of pressure though still being applied, and that means 3 players of Sentinels are still here. So anchoring onto the side, it's all onto Celsius and Zekken. See if they can stand tall against most of this one. Only the one for Zekken before he does go down, and a pause is called for. G2 don't have a lot of time to work with. They're hoping that Sentinels will overplay themselves, potentially into them, but now they got to try and make a move forwards, and Zeltis could be that win condition. Not quite just a 1, but yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Nicely done overall.
Taeho ult though.
Well played from those B players, Zelsis in particular. But I'm a bit confused by what G2's game plan was there. Don't know whether Jorgamo thought that he would get market for free. But Zelsis is almost always going to have a setup that's designed around punishing that.
Dude, I tried playing Vice and I have no fucking clue how to do the wall
shaky
thing.
on the Vice. He was putting his walls in some unusual spots, but he's really tightened up his game. He's in a great spot now on this defense side, where it can be a nightmare trying to run B splits against him. Another defaulty beginning to this. Not going straight into executes. Not giving easy cues for Sentinels to realize where Jorgamo's going to be popping from. It's much more about working the map. G2 starting by threatening some A main control, then they've been going back to mid and trying to run B splits or A splits.
Thanks in the middle of nowhere though. Again, the goal is just to slowly work the map here for G2.
Okay, look-key, this
Push
map
back,
is
make sure
defense
Zekken can
sided,
get
so
that
I
mid
don't
round
know.
information. Nothing's stopping him from re-clearing it though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Are the reclears going to come through? And here it is, pop flash into A main, and Bang gets some more information. So he realizes that G2 are not over towards A right now, but this actually gives Valen a good time to end A, because Sen are going to start to lean the defense off the site as Bang clears A main.
Slow crawl towards it. Sentinels.
Oh, he's gonna
Players
ult.
here. And Rake joining. Ensuring that Cat is sufficiently defended there. Up through tree. The Armageddon does need to be. Bang. Salvos at your feet as well. That's a tricky spot indeed. But already dashed in, disengaging. And now the double faces there from G2. And anticipated with Bang's position. Takes out two of them immediately. Sight potentially theirs as well. The Rake just trying to pick them apart. Trades there instantaneously. Trent.
He's won. He's won.
2v2 now.
Go
Spot the
sneeze
G2
on
as
him.
well, without too much control of anything
Go
else.
sneeze on him. Hurry.
Uncertainty. That smoke fades as well. Zelsis might be caught very unaware. Just on a perch. And he's
Oh,
already
sneeze on him.
just the
Sneeze
one.
on him, please.
Valen low enough that it should just be easy
Oh,
business.
nice.
Yes, indeed.
But
An incredibly important round for Sen to convert. A 2v2.
damn, I should have gone if we
Those can
should
get
have gone there
really
today.
dangerous against G2. But Sen fought them in the choke point. Look how quickly Jorgamo was forced to use his refract.
Crossfire.
He got in with a double dash and a bunch of util. I mean, G2 used tons of utility to try to set him up, but he was forced to recall immediately.
Look at you go. Look at you go. God.
Now G2 with Stingers and a Guardian. And thus far, haven't really seen that value from the Waylay that we're looking for. Many more rounds here, though, to study. And Zekken was amazing at the start of this series. White hot, and the action's coming towards him.
Parador, nice. Salvos at your feet as well. This is a dangerous spot for Zekken to be placed in. It's already taken damage as a result of it. Straight spam. Phantom in hand.
What?
As well. Pushes Zelsis back into a potential spot as well where he could do that damage. It's exchanged with the fire. Kills are being found. Sentinels getting it still. It's a double face up in the end by G2. Almost wrangling control of the rifle for the two-piece, but it is all there. Control.
One more.
Val, G2. No more options here for Valen. Drone gives up the position. Still gets to one. Narrates quick to make sure that that's all it is.
And no opportunity for G2 to get through that choke. Completely stuffed. Zelsis with a gorgeous flash. Salvos coming in from Narrate as well. Jorgamo used his dashes just to kind of avoid the salvos. He double dashed inside B main.
Yeah.
I didn't buy my second smoke. God damn it, Sean. Why would you do that?
Oh, I didn't catch up.
I didn't notice either.
But maybe that's the reason why Sen were fighting so hard. I think it was a good strategy in the end, though.
3 ults. Scary. On
Over the
both
top,
sides,
this is weighted
actually.
out by Narrate, so it's not spotted. Still has util if needed.
It's a round where you can go for a pretty big ult play for G2. The convergent paths can be deadly.
He's got his refract. He wants to try and bait this wall out, which he has done. To mid back to safety.
Oh.
That's important. Zelsis has been really good at defending his wall from Euro
Is-
drones. Jorgamo has to put his body on the line, so it's a little risky, but he gets away with it. And now he's got a good angle to go for his ult. He can ult into A main if they get info the Bang's playing there, or into sight if they see John.
It's a flash rebound.
Is it worth wasting
Gotta
like
be aware that this is
that
Take
util
pressure
for
over
the
its cap.
wall though?
still in control of it. Jump spot gets a good acknowledgement. Oh my, that's a bullet
Oh,
to the
shit.
head, though, that you're not looking for.
You're lucky that wall was
See it
there.
now. Dividing straight up into the side here with the salvos towards the back once more. Jorgamo needs to lead the charge for the rest of his team. They don't have control of main though, and a dash straight forwards into the arms of Leaf. Here the Thorns waiting for Nadia Armageddon. This is going to be chaotic indeed. Swinging from the side though, just finding that timing to steal Garden.
Zelsis? Fucking Sen
But
classic.
still good. Sen have chances and more.
Ah!
Zelsis finally removed. Thorn in their side. Bang and John QT, they're here forwards, trying to take that fight as the plan was going down, but all watched for high-low setup at G2.
Hold up.
And it might
I
seem a little bit
gotta
strange,
bump
but
my
the adjustment
nose.
from Jorgamo in this round was to use his dash way earlier. G2 are getting into sights just by walking in together. Obviously, Leaf gets a bit of a freebie there. They caught Zekken dead to rights in B main. But Jorg used his dash just to cut up the market angle. He didn't dash out of market. He'd already used his dash and his refract before he even took a step into the side.
And somehow they still won the round. Like, what the
This
fuck?
is, I think, already a pretty successful attack half for G2.
Yeah, from what we know, at least how Ascent is operated.
And with how good their defense was before.
Yeah.
The Waylay, pretty underrated actually on defense.
You know what?
Saturate is
At least they got a lap in.
Sen probably need another hero round here. Maybe from Zekken with the Blade Storm or bang over towards A main, who's been phenomenal.
Deep drone. Leaf's going to be inserted as well into that forward position. Pass most of it here, the flash to the peak. That's a great refight. Sentinels can overextend into this spot, but with nothing much in their back.
Yes! My John QT Stinger.
Options here, and Sentinels could capitalize. Flipping the map entirely from them, and what a shot by Bang! Still, he wants to step up even more here. There's confidence. You can see it in the way that he's playing.
Oh, shit.
What? But they overwhelm.
John QT Stinger.
Massive round for Sentinels with bad weaponry.
No, it's just a Stinger, bro. The Stinger
Flash reclear
should
over
not be
towards Tree
considered
and put
bad
him in a really
weaponry.
uncomfortable position. G2's game plan in this round
The
was to
Stinger
try
is like the best gun in the game.
condition Zelsis that any
My
time
best
this
gun
ball
is my
popped
best gun
mid,
in the game.
It's a fake. And this time actually Leaf just walked straight through it. So they were hoping that Leaf's lurk would pay dividends. It doesn't.
Nice, boys. Let's go.
It's pretty fast. It's pretty chaotic. But it's Sentinels coming out on top, making it look pretty. I think it's got Kaplan stressed in the back over there. You can
Certainly.
see it right over his face. But honestly, that was not a bad round from them. They managed to navigate another game plan from G2, another better buy from G2. And now, KO ultimate for Jonah P. Josh RT is going to take attack timeout, the first one that they have access to. And so Sentinels are going to need to do an anti-KO ult setup. So Zelsis playing pretty far away from the Thorns, throw those over to a different player. See if we can get long-range support. And possibly, you know, eyes on John to be using his KO ult reactively. And
Look at that.
I mean, look at this. This is the post-plant meta, folks.
One successful retake out of 17 opportunities.
Now, Pearl, both teams are playing Astra.
What?
So you have Pearl as well as the salvos to have to deal with, but
Sen's a little bit different.
That's
Follow
crazy.
the sound cues, just stun the hits
Definitely,
before you
yeah, honestly, a lot of the time you're not even in a good spot when you plant on this map.
Defense
you take so much
sided.
damage getting to the sites. So look, Zekken is on A with all of that Vice util, and Zel's is
Wait, I mean
playing the other
attack
side of the map
sided.
so that the
Wait,
KO
do I mean
ult
defense?
control
I don't
can
remember.
Prime something there with the salvos held onto the appropriate angle, saturated to the corner.
He was
John.
expecting a flash.
Yeah, he was. Turned to the side, almost expecting it, as you said, pre-anticipated, and
Ooh.
watching all the angles as
Oh
well.
my
as that
God.
response from Sentinels dragged them out.
This is just unbelievably good from Jogamo.
This is
To be able to pick up
scary.
that second kill as well. A 5v3.
Smoke fading, re-exploration again called for. Bang has to take risks in this spot. It just doesn't clear the right corner.
He
With the
almost, that was 24 fucking
Soldiers
bullets.
with 50 seconds left to play with. G2 just standing down their ground.
Yeah, there's so much time. G2 have been putting a serious focus on mid, baiting out Zelsis' wall. It wasn't there this time. He'd thrown it over towards A. But I think G2 know that. They're going to be running an anti-KO setup, so mid's going to be weaker.
Can Zekken get it done? He has a lot of util to try and play with here.
Ah!
Already dashed back into the salvos. There's no safety whatsoever.
Please
Zelsis,
save.
he had a couple of 4Ks on
Please
Pearl, but this, in a 1v4, doesn't seem doable for him. No. The money's still going to be okay for Sentinels, but it gives G2 a much-needed economic
It's so
cushion,
back and
because
forth,
the
though.
last couple of rounds, they've had like 1 or 2 players with a stinger, and they've been band-aid kind of
Scrapping together.
bits and bobs, yeah.
Difficult decision to make for Zelsis. He has the money to buy for next, but you don't want to feed up the ult to G2 as well.
No, you absolutely don't. Jogamo could get another conversion path online. Second already. And Jonah, the threat of the null command was actually more important here than even using it.
Yeah.
Zelsis recognizes that there's a null command on the other side, so he changes up his Vice setup entirely. That leaves a gap in mid that they have to fill with bodies, and G2 just walk down mid and take the fight. So a great identification of how the game changes just based on threat.
This is zone flash, I think, is what he was trying to avoid.
Was it really?
I'm not too sure. Don't know what happened to it. Something exploded on our screens. away. This is 4-4 now, and G2, their attack side, is looking mighty better.
That hurt.
Yeah, a much slower approach, less execute heavy, but really working well. Zellsis goes back to the same mid wall, and he's playing on site with his util. So if Jonah P pops some kind of fast B hit, Zellsis will not have access to any of this. But I think if it was going to happen, it would have been the previous round. So he's calling the bluff of G2.
Trying up through mid again. Make sure you clear all the angles. Second, he's been playing up close sometimes in through mid. That's back with a conversion pass. No risk to be taken this time though. Just trigger the wall and get back again. But Sen look like they're gearing up potentially to refight this one once more. Salvo's here. Onto the one side and the other. He's going to be used in response there with a saturate. You can see it pushes back. Zekken, barely alive, just has to updraft and scuttle himself away, but he's dropped down to low HP.
Jorg looking for a timing.
And here's a fight to be had.
Yes!
Narrate. Realizing it, there was a gap there.
They fight mid every fucking round.
And Zekken backed off to lane instead of B main. Remember last time he got caught in B main on the B split. Now adjusting his setup.
This is a slow siege indeed by G2, still waiting for that util. The knife does rain down.
If Jonah uses his ult, all of this Vice util will go.
Very pushing forwards, here it is. Ults.
This makes me want to play Valorant.
How do you battle your way out this one for Sen? There's a timing to be taken through the smoke. The Zellsis there do it. The side players, they need some help.
Yes!
Oh. Or do they Zekken? Just the one. Instant with the trade again, G2.
3v3, 3v3.
Across the site, but no extremity control into it, and time is of the essence. They need to get this plant down, and it needs to be held. And a 3v3, definite chances, and Sen looking to take it now. Can increase the tempo with that no forwards as well. Jump spot gets the acknowledgement. These players out, but Bang is just holding his ground. Util into his hands, snappy from Zellsis. Blind is even better. Up towards lane and a swing from behind. Very drilled by Sentinels.
It's so back and
Now
forth.
that is a lovely retake from Sen. We saw there was only one successful retake attempt on Pearl. But here, what Bang was doing, jiggle peeking to see whether the threat at stairs was actually real or not before deciding whether or not to invest the paranoia. And so he saves it and can use it for a much better opportunity onto the site. Combos it with that KO flash and blinds up Jonah P at the same time as all of Sen move forward as a pack. Both teams actually playing the spacing game, how far away you are from your teammate, really, really well.
Yeah.
They're moving together as one unit, as a hive mind. And that's a big adjustment from how G2 were previously playing, but Sen sticking to what they're great at. Leaf is coming into this one with only a Sheriff.
Delay with the paranoia. Wall in your face and a flash in the face of Zekken. Took him all the way. He's ripped his way back. Okay, refract.
Yeah, realizing that the Vice wall was here in B.
There's
two
of them in the corner.
It's a little lucky.
That's crazy.
But now that they've triggered out that wall, they know that there's nothing in mid. So you're expecting there to be bodies in mid, right? Because the wall isn't there.
Absolutely. They're gearing up to try and get control of B main again. It's a flash and a peek.
I would imagine that G2 are going to try to... Oh, hello.
They heard it.
Yeah. So Trent wants to re-clear this area. Push back. Zekken.
Yeah, realizing they can't really threaten the rest of the map if they've lost B main control the entire time.
But is this going to end up being a pop onto A with the conversion path? Because Jorgamo, he doesn't have refract, but he still can close the gap and do a lot of damage.
Why is
held here. Bang,
my Sentinel first?
And Narrate is going to be under crazy pressure because when this comes in through A main, if he turns his back for a moment, there's a backstab on Catwalk.
Already laying down the smoke.
30 seconds left.
Wine going to be cleared. Narrate. You stand against it, the heat's going to be turned up now, straight away. Conversion path's going to be slowing it down to a crawl double dash up and over towards the side. Safety there, Bang. Paranoia, brought enough time forward and even dodged that one. The saturate to the side. Bang! That's unbelievable! And just like that, scattered to the wind. Jonah P and Leaf are forced to do it all. Smoke's in your face as well, and bullets are raining down on you. Umbrella's not going to be safe.
One more!
Leaf.
Dude, you can hear the...
Indeed, ISO's one. Position noted though, expecting a second updraft over to the top. How the hell do you control that? You cannot! So well played in the moment.
What movement from Zekken! But
Some booty cheeks in his face.
The spot where Bang gave them the advantage.
Yeah.
That was masterfully played by Bang. The paranoia, I think, caught onto 3 people. Throws down a smoke to play around. and gets the kill onto Jordan.
Damn, he had like a whole minute.
He shouldn't be jumping in that spot, but to be honest, he's trying to jump to play in his teammate, who just gets sprayed, transferred.
Okay,
He
shit.
is going wild. A nice round from Sen, because there were two players under immense pressure there. Narrate got ulted by the Waylay, and he managed to back off into a corner and avoid getting punished.
Why are you on the floor?
Also, Bang on sight. He's been so good, Bang.
He's been unreal.
I think best smokes player that we have in Americas, I would say.
So far with the way that he's playing, yeah. Almost kryptonite to the way that G2 are as well.
Yeah, and think about the difference between these two smokes players, right? Valen has been talking so much. He's been so open and vulnerable in terms of discussing, after Bangkok, the journey that he's been on, trying to figure out what he could do individually to improve, and then realizing, actually, it's not about him as an individual. It's about him as a leader, as an IGL, to help the rest of his team improve. Now, Bang doesn't have any of that. Bang doesn't have to worry about leading the team and being the caller. He can just focus on playing the best individually he possibly can.
Are you good?
He's playing incredibly.
You can feel the, I think there's pressure for G2 here. This is, I believe, both timeouts expended at this point.
But again, if you zoom out, this is still a good attack half.
Right, exactly. The point being that so much emphasis placed on the attack side. G2
There's no
like
food here. Oh my god.
If they can get an extra round here or there, it's going to make all the difference for them. Already a better look compared to when they last clashed on this map. Second forwards again. He was doing this earlier in the half.
Oh my god.
Waiting for a bit of util as well for the setup.
So
but
hot. It was so cold outside today.
Must be dealt with.
Why? It's every fucking round in mid.
In case there is that follow-up and that pressure, but Zekin is not out of the woods just yet. Thrown out towards into the bottom. Do they expect Zekin to be dashed into this angle? Looks like it. Hard clearance by Jonah P. And yeah.
Okay.
Through the smoke from Narrate. Just working off minimap to be able to get that.
Couple of bullets. Does the job effectively enough. Zelsis now at his turn to try and step right up to it. And again, that spam. Smoke's going to be fading in the end. Narrate.
Blue, are you seeing this shit?
Brilliance from Sentinels. They're using the wall as bait in mid. The wall isn't even there, by the way, but because it has been in so many of the previous rounds, G2 are conditioned to walk down mid and try to get rid of that Vice wall as part of their default. And first they meet Zekin inside the smoke, then Narrate is there spamming to, and Zelsis also playing from market.
My soldier ran in there blind.
I mean, someone has to.
So now
you're
massive
right.
moments for both teams to close out in round 12.
Again from Zekin. Deep position, same smoke down. Okay, stray shot. Right to the noggin.
They're aware of the danger.
Smash over the top of the no command. Okay, you're going to be taking contact first here with the drone.
No!
There is no escape. Suppressed up, there is no dash out to safety. Zekin finally taken out. TP into the back. The reinforcements arriving over towards B, or are they, to cancel onto the ult. And it's thrown things for a bit of a loop here. G2 calling for a bit of a cooldown and now speeding up over towards A with the Armageddon. Safety net granted here for Sentinels.
But these B players can't really rotate over towards A.
Steel Garden stretching over towards the side here, but this is all just fake pressure once more to saturate.
What? He got out? What the?
There. Bit of a squeeze being placed now up towards Tree and just a shorty into your hands, but Bang, you got your weapon back, and the flash is impeccable. In and out, round to the side. Jorgamo with the movement, but Bang cannot be denied.
Okay, 2v2, 2v2.
What? It's already that 2v2 in this game. The timing's right from behind is taken. Bullet to the back there, execution star from Leaf.
What are you sniffing? There's nothing
to
there.
see what he can do in this spot. Steel Garden, even better. Leaf going to be backing away now, doubled up. Discipline to be played for these G2 players. Wrapping around all the way as well. Not,
he's just baiting.
Anticipating. Yeah, it is just bait. Trying to pull this one out all the way. Now they know he's not on it. Very difficult task indeed for Zelsis. So 7-5 is where we stand here on Ascent G2.
Why are you licking my hand?
The attack side is where they were really struggling.
There's nothing on there.
I think overall, they've got to be really happy with this. A much slower approach to Ascent. After having lost in dominating fashion to Sentinels just recently, they've made the right adjustments on their attack half.
I want to see Icebox. Please go to Icebox.
If they play their defense well, the trophy could be theirs.
We're going to send it down to the stage. Riv is standing by.
Okay, low-key,
and 100 Thieves.
it was. Oh my god, EU.
Yes, I am down here.
They did do better on
trying to figure out what they're feeling about the game.
Cloud 9, One
How things
Piece.
looking? How you feeling?
Oh,
Are you
wait, see,
feeling
next
good?
11, One Piece.
Obviously,
Wait, hold up.
We know
Gotta
the
tell my
results.
friend.
You're not feeling too good.
Ah, stop licking me!
How about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I would have rather won, but the game's looking good so far. Hoping for a close game between the two, but I don't want to root for either team for the sake of Bang's family and for the sake of Trent's family.
Okay.
I've been pretty unlucky recently, so I'm gonna keep out of it.
All right, who's impressing you so far, though? If you could be like, all right, yeah, they're frying.
Zekken's playing kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, Zach is playing kind of crazy. We'll
Yeah,
see
he
if
always
keep going. Now,
is.
Emmy, I gotta ask you. Week 5 was a game against G2, the Icebox match. We're going to Icebox here if Sentinels win. What did you kind of identify about them, and what maybe will we see Sentinels have to do to take that match?
I mean, I think I said it. We were scared of them, but I think here, G2 just need to ante them well. If G2 ante their comp well, I think they'll take it.
All right, and what did you mean before by saying G2 wins the map before they basically get into servers? How do you combat that, or how do you just go against that power?
Teams just usually go in very scared. I don't think Sen have done that today. I think Sen have handled it really well. But most of the teams just go in, they're scared against G2, they give them the respect, they don't fight them. And that's what I meant by it.
All right, awesome. Gentlemen, thank you for the info. I appreciate it muchly. We're going to throw it back to the casters and get this one underway. Take it away.
Sen have definitely
How
not
are
been fearful of
you?
G2 on here today, and they weren't the first time they played against them as well earlier on in the tournament.
No, they've been very happy today to re-clear, to fight, to try to bring those engagements to G2, but the adjustment strategically that
You
G2
just
made
wanted
here, how well they played a
attention.
slower
That's why
style
you're
of
up
play,
here licking me.
might have set them up
Boop, boop, boop,
with
boop,
an
boop.
opportunity to win.
Lou, who do you think is gonna win?
Chances at this America's Trophy. The victors at this year's
What?
kickoff.
Why are you licking me? Okay,
And after a
lick
tough,
left hand or right hand?
road
This
through
is
the lower
G2, this is
bracket,
Sen.
This would be their 4th win in a row. If
Sen,
they're able
okay.
to convert on the defense
Blue
side.
says Sen is gonna win.
Sweetest of rewards for this G2 squad, but job's not finished yet. Still 2 rounds down. The Sentinels not willing to give up so easily.
And I think Sen, despite being up by 2, they'd love a pistol here. It would
Yeah.
mean everything to them.
That's true.
Put him on the right foot forwards here. Knife against the back. It's going to force that nade out nice and early. 2-4.
Dash used.
Okay.
Dash used in the first 20 seconds to disengage. So that makes it really
What?
tough to send 4 players through A main.
Might have spotted on the minimap, I'm not too sure. At least the suppression came through, so.
Yeah, they know exactly where he is.
Yeah, they caught him. And here it is, re-cleared core 4. Flash over towards the top of that. Salvos the rate. Does fantastically.
He
to even get
still
one spot.
gets
But again,
one?
take a look at Leaf, all the way behind here in spawn.
Oh my.
This is a mad timing. He's got the read so well.
They're watching for top mid pressure, thinking that somebody could have looked all the way up. Did they spot that one?
I think
Too
Bang.
sure.
Yes, Bang saw
Yeah,
it.
it's pinged. Bang. Notifying the rest of his team. It's doubled up. and
Let's
held here
go.
now. Get a bit of a move on once more. Marathon sprint across the map.
Well, you just know that B is undefended. If Leaf has pushed all the way out through B, then it's empty. These rotators for the defense are going to be trying to race you, and it's a fake. Sen ascending the footsteps in this direction while the spike goes back into A.
One
it's
step
all on
ahead.
Valen.
All on Valen indeed, and he's just caught that timing against it. Second was hard clearing onto the one side of things. It's caught out now. Reinforcements are going to be arriving. Desperate at that for G2, but time is of the essence again. 12 seconds. It's counting down into the round in a double phase. Trent and Valen putting a stop to all of this here with only seconds remaining. There's no more chances now. It's run dry and shy, and all they have to do is live. Kills a consolation at this point. It's a pistol round win for G2.
Damn.
And that should allow G2 to close this gap.
Damn.
They're not the type of team that we expect to go for the force. They won some important ecos earlier on. There's that little jiggle that just gave the game away on Leaf's lurk. But in the end, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And it was Valen's decision not to overcommit. After Leaf died, he stayed on A just in case John QD was cooking up some kind of elaborate fake, and he was. So once more, Valen with
That
the
would have been,
slightest
that
of
was
better
smart,
reads,
but like.
ends up winning a massively crucial round.
Creeping all the way up here from Sen. Nothing to really work with in this spot. Jorgamo's giving up control, at least towards mid. Foul burst dash forward. Market control in the name of the game here for Sentinels, at least hoping that they can pull some G2 players out, potentially get a pick off of it. Jorgamo, seen it, that's a no-scope. If I've ever seen one. Either that or too fast to register for my eyes at least, but Jonah P seals up potential weaknesses in their setup, and the wall has really just delayed all of this here. Bang, still accurate as ever. Classic in hand, but peppering them now with a bit of lead. The backside player of Leaf as well is going to be able to anchor this one nicely. Still mistimed. It was Utah by Jonah P to flash to try and help him out entirely. Spotting this one out, but running away with it. And yeah, here it is.
NT.
Flooding all the way back in for it. So G2 now evened it up 7-7.
Lou, I think your prediction
Sen have got a massive uphill.
might be
battle
wrong.
here. G2 won both pistols on Ascent and got 5 rounds total on their attack half. For how defense-sided this map is, it's going to be brutal. Sentinels
It's okay, it's
the
okay.
hero moments of earlier from Zekken.
They have 5 rifles now.
Zelsis 4Ks from Pearl. The reads from John.
Yeah, my
Narrate
one
to step
person
up.
looked
They need
pissed.
everybody online. And they absolutely must win this round. Of all of the rounds that you get on the attack side, this anti-bonus is normally your best shot at generating some level of momentum. Zekken
Right
down
through
mid very early.
And he's going to be met. There's plenty of bodies ready to receive here on G2 side of things. Going for that refight as well. The Paranoid sweeps past, but it was a window. Slightest of gaps the Zekken plays in, and he was not blinded up.
That's a bit of a gun diff as well, because Jorgamo does actually hit him for 140. As Zekken survives. He's used his dash though, so he's not really going to be useful at breaking through these choke points. And going through the Bucky here can be utterly brutal.
We've seen some filthy things with this.
Narrate doesn't have drone.
Airplane Bucky on a Sen. We've all seen the damage done, and that might just put a stop to what Sen were planning. They've called for a bit of a pause.
Zekken's deep down mid. Valen's fighting back. Smoke v smoke.
As it dissipates as well, there's timings and fights to be taken on either side here, and Zekken is still doing work once more. 10 HP.
Yes! Yes! Whoa!
Turn of the head. Valen expecting it in a different direction here, but Sentinels are making moves now over towards B.
And it looks like they've managed to thread the needle and find that gap. Trent with it all to do. He has won some bonkers 1v3s this stage.
You better not be this
No
round.
information about where the Sentinels players are. And Bang alone should checkmate him in this spot towards mid. And then you'd have to deal with Zelsis in B main and John on the site. Doesn't really seem doable. Especially not with a Bucky. I don't think that's the gun that you really want.
Looking for that one.
Why
we go.
did he
It's going to be heard.
Fuck yeah.
Sound cue from the weapon dropping. Bang immediately snaps round, so...
And it's actually important that you do not feed the kill into John QT. Because he's 2 away from null command. And that could be Sentinel's ticket to winning this map.
You hear that, Blue? You can't hear shit.
Footsteps. What? Okay. Expected by Trent, apparently.
And it doesn't look like John's going to have an opportunity to farm up this ultimate. Do they play a
Stop
solo
licking
or for
him! Why do you
ultimates?
lick
Feed him the
everything?
plant.
What is wrong with you?
The problem is, if you feed him the plant and he gets ult, you've already got on site. So you've done the hard part already.
Oh. That was almost a
Zekken does a
collab.
great job in this round.
He does.
He perfectly plays the
What are you
mid
doing,
pressure.
you know?
He knows that a retake's coming, puts himself in a safe spot, and then still manages to find a mid lurk for a second after being hit for 140. Zelsis is not, Leaf is not using the wall for mid information. They're playing crossfires in mid instead.
It forces a couple of eyes of the G2 players at least to be watching that direction. The drone dodged in timing. Leaf is going to be making sure to shore that one up. Back through market. Reclaims for the salvage as well. It's a dangerous position to be in. Narrate. He's looking to at least make it a bit harder.
He got out of it.
Sent flying forwards and through. Leaf. Snappy. Just taps away. Rips the head clean off and even giving up that space. They heard the spike drop down, but they're willing to relocate anyway.
Leaf is so aggressive, so confident. He's the vice player. If he goes down in that spot, it's massive for Sen. But he's just... He believes in his own aim and his own read on the game so much. A has been weak for G2. It's only had these 2 players defending it the entire time. And the net is starting to tighten. But Valen, Jonah, they still have a lot of util to hold this off. And
G2.
Bang goes down.
Yeah, he does indeed. G2 are getting so damn active as well, though, with that deep push out through B main. Missed the timing for the backstab onto the cap players, but G2 are happy to play a bit further back. 2v4. Played a numbers advantage. Have faith in the retake at this point.
I'm a little bit surprised they even want the door closed because they've got to find a pick here before the retake comes through.
Door's going to be broken at the moment's notice. Down to red. Alarm bells ringing. Zekin in through main, but he's going to be pushed out into the open. This drone, he's got to expect it. With the position, the stun is a good connection. Trent, though, still doesn't open himself up. He wants to play this one with the salvos, and he lets his team do the damage. Still Zekin. One to the grave.
No,
With him.
blue, no.
This guy's
Oh,
all over
no.
the place. So damn active across the map. And still hitting shots like that.
Leaf was the key player in G2's victory over MIBR. He dominated, and he looks like he's doing it again here on Ascent. The scoreline's
Nóng à?
close,
Đi xuống nhá.
but our expectations are
Đi
weighted
xuống
by
nhá.
what teams have done before on this map.
Đi đi.
How
Đi xuống. Đi xuống
difficult
đi.
it is to get the job done on the attack.
They're gonna call a timeout.
Đi đi.
I mean, he's wrong with that read, but
Đi
he's been
đi.
right with everything else. So
Không muốn đi
not
à?
going for the tag timeout just yet, but
Đi
they're
xuống
not down
đi.
onto Nico. It would be a really normal time for Kaplan to hit the panic button.
Không đi thôi.
Are
Ôi.
they unaware? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, slightly. They've been allowing some
Tưởng
really
mình
heavy
nóng.
walkouts. G2 have been pushing out and re-clearing the map pretty similar to when we started on Haven. If you think back all the way to map 1, G2 were just pushing out constantly through A lobby, through mid, through garage. And Leafs finding those same opportunities here on
Ở đây.
defense.
Đập đây, đập đây, đập đây, đập đây, đập đây. Ow!
Clearing up some of the confusion on the map.
Đập đây. Đập đây.
Leafs
Đập đây này.
also the drone up through
Đây
the
này
middle,
cô,
might
đập
pull
đây,
some
đây,
players
đây,
here
đập
for
đây,
Sen.
đây, cơ
They didn't really have much to work with. They got the knives earlier. You saw that Zekin.
Nóng à?
Brings himself up to this blade storm now, and it could get explosive up towards the A side. Might put a lot of pressure onto Valen.
What is that, huh?
Does have some support as well, though, from the two tree players, and here it comes. Flying forwards here with a paranoia. Just about dodged and avoided here, but Zekin's in, and the knives are taken away. Great flood attempt here from G2. Coming to the corner here, and a pop flash was anticipated. Valen tucked to the corner. One step ahead is G2, expecting the plays Ascend were trying to make, and Zelsis.
He's just forced to scurry away, isn't he? 30
Quiet.
seconds left. Love that 0 point from Jonah P.
My blind is dead.
Usually, the KOs are going to be throwing that kind of early on in the round. 20 seconds, 2 players in A main.
Oh,
Big
he's 1
chance.
HP
Jonah
too.
picks up the final one, but it's his 0 point, the knife that just takes away Zekin's Bladestorm, and with it, any opportunity for a clutch for Sentinels, if we're being honest. Zekin had to be the playmaker, and he just got put in an impossible spot. He's got a classic in his hand by the time the exec happens.
Lie as well at this point. This is a very difficult ask for Sentinels. They're only down by 1 round, but the ultimates are being built up here on the G2 side. One away for some critical ones as well. Trent and Leaf to be getting theirs online. Jonah P has that null command waiting.
And an anti-KO setup here for G2. So if you do decide to run some kind of fast B pops, Leaf's going to keep all of his util online. And not moving the wall either, keeping the wall in mid. So you still have really good information unless it gets baited. They're pinging it. Zekin's running forwards to try to bait it.
Very potentially about a response from G2, but they are passive enough.
I don't know why he didn't just do that,
No
Jogamo,
way.
instead of using
He's
his.
gonna be taken out. Forces
The
are
fuck is
throwing
it
on
called,
the G2
Riffraff?
here, but it's these G2 players right here. Jorgamo under the threat here. Heat's going to be turned up out of the pan and into the fire.
Let's go, Blue, let's go!
2 quick ones earned as well up through heaven. You got to try and deny this purge that Leaf is sat upon. They do just that.
Nice early use of the ultimate. Completely caught those players on tree.
Excuse me, sir, why are you pressing my keyboard?
Dominated.
9-9. Sentinels. That could have been a very dangerous round indeed. And with it,
Let's go, Blue! Let's
Sounds
go,
like a couple of
Sen!
big ultimates
Let's go,
themselves.
Sen! Let's go, Sen! Let's go, Sen! Oh, they have like 4 ults this round.
Swap over to his shorty because I think in his head he's probably anticipating the Visal coming
Let's
through
go,
as well.
Sen!
And he's
Let's go,
thinking,
Sen!
all right, I
Let's go,
probably
Sen!
need to be
Let's go,
swapping.
let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! Let's go, Sen! Let's go, Sen! Let's go, Sen! Let's go!
Stand
4
up
ults
because
and
of
3
playing on the
ults.
stage, yeah, probably.
Basically 5
The NBA
ults.
fans are wondering.
Yeah, they were. They were at some point.
But now that big null command removed from the attack side should make things slightly easier here for the defenders.
Saturate slows it down though. They know where the drone's coming from. It's elbows. He's barely out of there. Zekken, he's still alive.
Cute combo.
Hi.
Bang forwards. Oh, he's blind as anything. Doesn't matter.
Let's go,
He's
Sin.
been
Let's go,
magnificent
Sin.
today,
Let's
hasn't
go,
he,
Sin.
Bang?
Let's go,
Just
Sin.
catching the perfect timings with the perfect off angle. And G2 react with Jorgen Leaf walking forwards, possibly straight into the arms of Zekken.
Yeah. Zekken has been able to backstab multiple times here, but Leaf is watching for it.
Oh, the Tejo ult.
Hold on, Armageddon's going to force these players forwards as well. That is a pick your poison situation. You are stunned up, and my goodness, what a way to deal with it.
Oh, that's immaculate from Trent.
It's a 2v3, turned on his head immediately. Celsius, you have the ult to work with again, but look
Are
at
you
this, the
seeing this
positioning
shit,
of
Blue?
Leaf. He's already here. I think you can hear it. Rumble of somebody's footsteps, convergent pass, just to slow them all the way down. There is that uncertainty. Sentinel's trying to slow this one down and hope that Celsius will be offered up. Picks here, but with the util out in the open, doesn't expect that.
What a turnaround in this round.
Blue, what happened?
Pulls out a phenomenal 2K.
What happened?
And Narrate can hear a waylay fast behind.
Yeah, put in a squeeze now as a vice script here. That's Thorns.
What? Licking
Passing,
the
gonna
arm.
get predictable. You want to get the plan here, just taps, hoping that it just pull one of these players out wide. And Leaf is just smart. Too smart for these games as well. Doesn't really open himself up for it. Spamming, spraying away, but time is already going to
Wait!
As long as Trent stays alive, it's going to be another one added to the tally.
They're so good at identifying.
They said
what
Leaf
need to do
is
in
just
these clutch
smart.
situations.
Yeah.
Trent never at risk there of putting his body on the line. So that Narrate could win the
Blue.
1v3. Take a look at the replay here, though. It's a perfect off angle to stop a play like this. A 5v3. And then Leaf with his classic push out, and Trent with an immaculate 2K.
It's the
I don't know how they
stinger.
can
The
read that they're all in aim at that
stingers.
exact timing.
The
But
best weapon in the
combination of the ult and
game.
the stun.
I
That's
know.
why he's a Tejo master.
Đi xuống nhá. Nóng cái ngồi đây.
It's a brutal one for Sentinels
Did
here. Immediate reaction with
He's
the
sorry?
timeout. You can see it. Well, Sentinels players' faces, they
Did
are
he?
feeling it potentially.
Đây, đi
This
sang
is
bên
difficult
này.
spot to be in, even though they're one round down.
And they've
Hey,
actually been
Andy.
doing a decent job. We keep talking about the fact that it's going to be uphill, but Sen,
Ugh.
they're kind of going 1-for-1 with these rounds.
Yeah.
Obviously, G2 won the pistol. It's
You
been
look so stupid.
3-2. It hasn't been dominant for the defenders. They've been holding their own. But if they lose this next round, Sen are going to be on an eco.
I mean, I think this map is more defense
Couple of players
sided.
swapping over, we can see, to light armor to try to soften the blow if they do lose this round. They're going to try to keep the economy going for as long as they possibly can. It's a game of endurance playing the attack side of Ascent. We're just trying to create as many opportunities as you can and see if some of them work.
Not just Ascent as well, it's best to find in general. These have been slow rounds being played. Maps that have been going deep. In part, both of these teams taking chunks out of each other, but G2 holding the advantage in the series and in the map for now. Sentinels looking to counteract it. Always slow at the beginning between these two teams as well. They're just hoping that they can wait out a bit of the util. Knives thrown at the beginning.
Knife clears over towards Catwalk. Thrown into a middle. And they push Jorgamo out of middle. So Sentinels using their utility to try to create safe avenues for them to split into sites. G2 look for a little bit of info. Don't see too much. I would expect ults to be expended massively in this round because it's super important for both teams. If G2 win it, they're going to be feeling elated.
Blue, what did you press on my
Like the trophy's already
keyboard?
theirs.
Full sprint up through mid by Zekken, just hoping that the wall was there to potentially bait out, but now knows that it's not. Immediately set their sights over towards A.
And A is weak.
And the hand with the flash. G2 are playing passively enough though that this is a chance for them. Jump spot, Jonah P.
What a hold.
Yeah, they're willing to give him that control as well, and that refight is called for with a paranoia, but up through mid now.
Huh?
In your face. Great, you have the salvos to instantly break this one. You can pop out onto these players, but the Steel Garden is again going to be lying in wait here from Lee. He's going to be slowing down these players out towards the back of the side and dashing over. Utilize him at the doorstep. Saturate, potentially even better, but Zekken does put him in his place. All the way forwards now with only 15 seconds left. This is G2 jumping on the chance. Death by 1,000 cuts indeed. Sentinels between a rock and a hard place. There's no chance for them to get this spike down safely, cleanly, whatsoever. 11 rounds now for G2.
9-11!
Only 2 more rounds needed before G2 hoist the trophy. Back-to-back winners in Americas after making 4 consecutive finals. We've never had even a repeat winner in Americas. And Sen have got to scrap together a bye. They have to. It's pointless trying to let G2 get to 12 and hoping you can win 3 attack rounds on Ascent in a row. Even though the bye is going to be bad. A Stinger, a Guardian, a Bulldog, and a dream for Sen. Somebody has to make the play to right the ship. Otherwise, they, with double map ban, are going to fall short.
We saw plenty of hero plays on these Sentinels players, and again, as you said, Josh, this is ass off once more.
Oh, he's got stuck.
He's out of there, but he does. Oh no, no dash available.
Oh, he still got one.
At least with the kills. Second, forced into a difficult spot. He wants at least to fight his way back out of it, but Jorgamo! Right from behind!
No smoke over towards Market. I think Second assumed that was being covered.
Yeah, what the fuck, team?
It was all chaos.
Bang up towards Cart. Just with the movement as well, the
And
refract
he
in the back
gets
catch
out.
Jorgamo. Tail end of the duration of that one still, he's alive. That means a player advantage for G2 to play around.
Narrator's been holding his ult for such a long time. Can he find some value out of it? They've got to turn a player disadvantage.
Otherwise it's going to mean G2 up to 12 here. Up to series point in our grand finals. Push forwards, pop flash in. And this is it, Narrate. Just being swarmed and overwhelmed. G2!
Oh my god, dude!
One step away.
3 chances, 3 tournament points. They already won in kickoff. It was a 5-map blender between these 2 teams. And Sentinels beat them for the first time in VCT recently in the upper bracket semi-finals here.
Every time a team beats G2, they come back like even stronger. I don't know.
Dominance here. Just a week ago, they were thinking whether or not they
Two
could
ults,
qualify
two
for
ults.
Toronto. And now they've got 3 opportunities. To
Damn, the crowd is screaming G2.
Skipping the Swiss stage in a phenomenal spot for Toronto.
Carving themselves into the history books of Americas, at least domestically. To be one of the first teams to get the back-to-back. It's up to Zekin to try and put a stop to that. These dreams and hopes of G2 themselves, but already dashing forwards. This guy has to be the tip of the spear, but he's just being isolated still. They deal with Leaf. Armageddon in through the back. Finds a bit of time and a bit of space as well, but they have to deal with Trent, and it's a stun against the back wall. He's penned himself in. Skipping and hopping all the way through as well. Zekin isolates it, finds that fight in DG2. Just relentless.
Stinger!
Making a move on now, still with that player disadvantage. Jorgamo though cleans it up onto the side. It's all down to him into this spot. Sentinels earn themselves that breather.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
When you're watching through Zekin's eyes, it looks chaotic. He's been tangled up by Leaf's setups in a couple of these rounds now, and yet
he's insane. He's crazy.
Completely
You know.
isolated Trent, and he did whiff on the stun. He's almost stunned himself. A little bit of nerves in the final moment. And brick by brick, track by track, the Zen train at the moment keeps chugging. But 2 more opportunities for G2. On a massively favored half, and they're taking attack timeout.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, if Kaplan doesn't take it now, he might not have a chance to even talk to the team. Everything has to be perfect. Or at least the outcome has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Actually, the way the Sentinels got that round was a little scrappy, but it got the job done, and that is what matters. They've run out of ultimates, though. Narrate was holding
They
that
did
table
run
in his
out
back
of.
pocket for so long. And Kaplan, he's actually not so much giving the info here as just giving his team time and space, it seems, to fill something out. It's John that you can see calling out a couple of ideas, some adjustments.
Just those 2 rounds that stand for Sentinels. Every single round that they've been able to earn on this attack side, it's been torturous, man. It's been absolutely torturous. If you take a look at the timeline, only 3 so far on this attack side round, and now they have to do 2 back-to-back. Bring this one all the way to OT to stand a chance as well, to not go out, just to even get a chance.
Walk in, Sen, please.
And final.
Lock the fuck in.
So much of Sentinel's conditioning recently in the last few rounds has been around B and B splitting. Leaf adjusting the setup slightly, but gets caught by the suppress. But Sen are messing with their heads. Instead of going for the B split, they're making it feel like one and getting ready to pounce on A. But G2 are already getting good information. They posted up Jorgamo with Trent to clear out this angle. The drone goes deep, and Leaf can start leaning A.
Jorg could take a peek here if he wanted to, at least with the refract, but not choosing to. Center quite open as well to that push, the potential of it at least, in through mid, just holding for now.
And G2 look like they're playing A for retake. I mean, they want to use, by the look of it, Trent and Jorgamo's ultimate to close this out. Zellsis.
Tricky wall to try and at least break down. Spam coming his way on top of it. Eventually removes it. One obstacle dealt with, but Sen have got plenty more waiting for them on the other side of the A side here. A lot of util expended.
But again, I think it's going to be a retake. We're looking towards Trent and Jorgamo and how much value they get out of the ults.
Huge ults.
Sen are controlling Catwalk and Tree. They're not closing the door and locking themselves in on site.
Because they know they have to fight forwards here. As soon as the ults are used, find a timing, a window of opportunity here against G2, and here it is. First ult going to be sent out. John QT already catching it.
Oh!
He's isolated on a bloody island. Slow to a crawl, but he still gets the one. Sentinels, can they do it? Pull it back from the brink, but again they're isolated, cut out of the sight, divided away from it, and spammed, and stuck away. Sen, dropping like flies, and for G2, into the hands of Trent, and he delivers them, and back to back.
GG. How the fuck did they lose that round?
Just wait for the map to finish. Much improved over the last time that they played Ascent.
GG.
And this team, like I said only a week ago, were grueling through the lower bracket against 100 teams.
Bitch, that was like yesterday.
Against an EG team that looked like they had the momentum. These
Dude,
players didn't even know.
I can't believe EG almost won
Didn't know whether
against
they'd even
G2.
qualify in third place. Never mind first place. They make history today. And Ender had talked about it again a week ago. There are only a few games that set your legacy in Valorant. And they managed to avoid elimination in the lower bracket and cement that legacy again today.
No, I'm pissed off
And
now.
here it is. Your stage 1 2025 America's
This would have been such a good trophy for Sen because of the red. I guess they're also red. They're both red.
This team has been dominant throughout the whole of this year domestically in Americas and just started to slip up in recent weeks. But they fixed it at the perfect moment.
Okay, but can they win an international? I hope an NA team wins Toronto.
Brilliance coming out from people like Trent, Lee,
Are there Canadian teams?
and fixing
I actually don't know.
that they've made on maps like Ascent, for example. Poetic the way that they finish.
Absolutely. Grueling is what they'd probably describe their path to even get here. And each player getting their time in the sun.
An awesome moment as well, you've got to imagine, for Jonah P, who's going to be probably the sole Canadian.
How do they hold that with one hand? That looks fucking massive.
And with a trophy in the back pocket as well. Waiting to see which teams are going to escape from the Swiss stage to march into the blender that is G2. Because they get that opportunity to look at the rest of the squads, figure out the meta potentially too.
Absolutely.
Trent will have time to revamp if he wants to move away from the Teo.
Well, with all that being said, we're going to send it down to Riv on the stage with our America's Stage 1 champions. Take it away for the Verizon post-match interview.
Well, now I'm pissed. I'm gonna go to Target.
For your back-to-back kickoff and Stage 1 champions, G2! Amazing, amazing. Jonah, it feels right to start with you.